Sony have recently given their PSN Plus subscribers access to a beta of their upcoming fighting game, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. I've been playing it over the past couple of days and have a few thoughts and impressions to discuss. Let's get the obvious out of the way right here and now. Yes, this game plays a lot like Super Smash Bros. The simple control scheme, the ability to have 4 players on screen at once, the pacing. It's a very similar experience. This video is not going to be a comparison between Smash Bros. And All-Stars. The beta gives us 6 characters in total and a decent insight into what we can expect from the final product. The fighters on offer are Kratos, Parappa the Rapper, Fat Princess, Sly Cooper, Sweet Tooth, and some guy from Killzone who's apparently called Colonel Radek. While these are not the most exciting characters Sony could have given us, they have made a smart decision in leaving the majority of the most sought-after characters behind closed doors, giving us something to look forward to when the full game releases. Most of the characters have a very similar feel to them. They move at almost identical speeds, their jump heights don't tend to vary, there seems to be the same weight behind their attacks, they're all jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none characters. This is a very easy way to balance a game, but it makes it extremely difficult for any one character to make a lasting impression. It can also make for some dull and unexciting fights when you approach every character with almost exactly the same strategy. As the beta is restricted to online play only, you will quickly get an idea for the favourites people have been able to pick out. Kratos appears in every single match, and there are usually a minimum of 2 of him running around at any one time. Parappa seems to be a frequent choice, as does Colonel Radek. Kratos seems to have an answer to everything. He's very versatile, and no matter what situation you find yourself in, there's probably something Kratos can do to turn the tide in your own favour. Initially, he came across as being somewhat overpowered until I spent more time with the other characters, and finally had some matches that weren't entirely filled with the guy. Parappa is a strange character to look at. He's always been a 2D character, and seeing him being animated and having him interact with other characters in a fully 3D environment is weird, as he retains his paper-thin aesthetic. He is always facing the camera, and that can make it hard to tell which way you're facing before throwing a punch. He's another all-rounder and ultimately unremarkable. Radek is a character I wish had not been included in the game at all, and more people are starting to play as him. Among the most annoying breed of players you'll face online are the projectile spammers. So Sony went ahead and decided to include an entrant that's entirely devoted to projectile spam. Every time you come up against this guy, the player will just run to the side and start laying on some heavy fire. I guarantee it is as annoying as it sounds. The other 3 seem to be getting unjustly neglected and rarely showed their faces whilst I have been playing. Sly Cooper had a great trilogy of games that was seemingly overshadowed by Jak and Daxter, as well as Ratchet and Clank. In battle, he's notably a little faster than the others, and his moveset takes advantage of this agility. But again, the difference in characters is so subtle that it hardly makes a difference. Sweet Tooth is possibly the only character that immediately made me alter my playing and fighting style. He is a slower, heavier character, with more devastating attacks. I'm very much hoping that Sony push some of the other characters' strengths and weaknesses to the same extremes as they have with Sweet Tooth, for a game filled with truly unique characters, instead of the somewhat bland selection we have at the moment. Fat Princess might just be getting brushed aside because she's not overly popular or recognizable. I actually had to look up who she was. I've played as her once, for the sake of being fair, and immediately dismissed her afterwards. Frankly, she was embarrassing to play as, and I've never been beaten as badly as when I took her for a test run. She really failed to make any form of impact. The visuals themselves are entirely moderate. They're precisely what you'd expect from a game made in this day and age, nothing more, nothing less. The environments managed to be quirky with plenty of charm and interactive objects and platforms to give some fights a certain sense of identity at least. Unfortunately, the music is commonly drowned out by the microphones of your opponents, so I can't really comment on that. Sony have a lot of work to do if they want to release a game that gets a reputation as more than a Smash Bros. Clone. Whilst I did have some fun playing the beta, I couldn't help but feel that the company were merely phoning it in, knowing full well that it'll sell regardless. I would suggest caution here. Be hesitant before picking up the title later this year if this beta is any indication of the final quality. This has been Afro Blue, thank you very much for watching.